Alright, hello, I'm silverkyle, and I am finally back with a new video, and today I am going to be looking at State of Play, which is Sony's answer to Nintendo Directs. Essentially, that's what it is. It's a 20-minute video talking about upcoming games and hyping the future games that are coming out. So, I thought that Sony did a pretty good job with this. I will say, though, that Nintendo is still the king of those videos. Like, they've been doing it for a few years, and I'd say most Nintendo Directs were better than this, but I still think that Sony did a pretty good job. And I feel that the point of this video was to really sell us on VR. And in that respect, they did a pretty good job, because there's not really a lot of games that I really enjoy on VR. I have a VR. I think VR is an awesome idea. I think that, you know, slowly incorporate more and more games into this. I will always want it and prefer controls for a video game. That's just my preference, but I do like the idea of VR. But I just don't feel that we're really there yet. I feel that a lot of the developers are still, it's all in its infancy. And they're starting to figure out, okay, what can we do to make it so that people don't get nauseous and dizzy with this? And how much can we work with our tech? How can we make the games look amazing in this? And that's kind of where I feel that some games are just really lacking. And then you have other games that look phenomenal, but they don't do as much as I would want them to do. So they have to find a fine line between that, and also not make you nauseous, which is also very hard, because I could probably only play VR games for about an hour, maybe two, depending on what is kind of going on with VR. But they did a very good job at bringing up new games that I had no idea about. Some of these might have been talked about before, but to me they were all new. I didn't even know they were having a State of Play today. I've been so out of the loop with video games. I pretty much in 2019, I haven't played any video games really. I've just recently started getting back into them. But anyway, let's get on with this State of Play from Sony from March 25th, 2019. So they started it off with Iron Man VR, and I want this, but I feel that they're going to charge too much for it, so I will wait for a price drop. If they charge full price for this, like full retail price of a regular video game, like $80 here in Canada, $60 in the US, that's insane. I really hope that they're kind of going in the mid-range for this. I actually haven't tried to look at any of the price points for this, like on Amazon or anything, but I don't know how I feel about this. It looked okay. It didn't look like amazing. But I've always thought that would be a freaking awesome game, and especially with the Move controllers, which I do have for the VR, and you're kind of pretending to be Iron Man, and I think that would be kind of cool. I would love for a Spider-Man game, probably more so, where you're actually web-slinging. Like in the Batman VR game, I was hoping that you could do grappling hooks and, you know, float down with your cape. You can't actually do that. You're pretty much stuck in the same place, and I get that as well with VR, but I want to be moving around. And with this one, at least you're flying and shooting stuff. So it didn't look great, but maybe in VR, it's actually freaking awesome, and you feel like Iron Man. I just want it to be longer than like an hour and a half. It doesn't have to be like 20 hours, I get that. It doesn't even really need to be 10. 5, I think, would be really cool. 5 hours of gameplay where you're flying around and with the story mode and stuff. I think that'd be really cool. You could be Tony Stark in certain things, going around and, you know, hacking stuff or something to switch things up a little bit so you're not always flying around and shooting stuff, because that could get kind of long. But I'm with this idea. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I've got my Avengers Infinity War shirt on. I kind of have to get this. I'm interested. So next one is Crash Team Racing Nitro Refueled, which I never really played Crash Team Racing. I'm surprised, because I love the Crash Bandicoot series. I had a PlayStation at the time, and I love Mario Kart, so it kind of goes hand in hand, but I never played it. So I'm actually very excited for this. And it's also, they're doing it in a weird way where they're kind of making it look like retro, like they're all polygons, I guess. Like they all look very choppy, kind of. It's still HD and everything. And then they kind of did they showed like the old school, like what it was back on PlayStation 1. And then they show what it is now. And I mean, there's a big difference still. I wish that they would actually use PlayStation 1 graphics, just HD. Like literally just do what they did is they showed the PlayStation 1 game. Use that. I would love for that to be a game again. I would love if developers went back to that era, because that to me was my favorite era, the PlayStation 1 and N64 era. Anyway, that's cool they're making that. Then they showed No Man's Sky Beyond, which is the VR version of No Man's Sky, which will be an update, I think, later this summer for free. And No Man's Sky, I was so excited for that game. Then the reviews came out, and it was just apparently not at all what we had expected. Over time, though, I've been hearing so many good things about what they've been doing lately with, different updates and things like that. And I feel that with VR, this would be awesome. Even if it's an empty game and you're just going around and doing a few different missions here and there, in VR, this could be really fun and exactly what I kind of wanted with this game without even realizing that I wanted it in VR. So I'm sold on this. I'm now going to have to go get No Man's Sky. I'm glad that I didn't pick it up on Xbox because it now is on Xbox as well. And I'm up for this. There's quite a few games here in VR that I might have to get like online for. Anyway, because Crash Team Racing, I needed VR for that too. Not VR. That's not on VR. Crash Team Racing is not VR. That'd be cool if they had a few levels with that. Maybe. I mean, Wipeout is probably the best game that I've played in VR. But anyway. Then they showed Ready Set Heroes, which is like a dungeon crawler, like a cartoony, like animal, like, I don't know, dungeon crawl, like Diablo, I guess, where you go around, and it's kind of a cool idea. It's a neat concept where you're a team, and it's 2 versus 2, where you're both fighting these dungeon crawls on your own, or fighting against each other. Excuse me, fighting it like maybe perhaps even together. But whoever gets the most points or something like that will have more items and be more powerful by the end of it, so that when you have the actual 2v2 of players against each other, then one will have an advantage and one will not when you actually battle each other. And I think that's a cool concept. And it does have couch co-op as well, as along with online multiplayer. That's pretty cool too. The style that they used wasn't exactly my thing, so I'm going to kind of wait and see how this one goes. This one is also not VR. Next up, they showed Blood and Truth, which apparently now has a release date. They had talked about this game before, but I had never actually seen it, so this is my first time ever seeing it. And this is the kind of VR game I've wanted. It's, to me, like a James Bond game where you're running around doing these missions, and there's guns, and there's driving, and there's just mayhem, and that's what I want from a VR game. I want to be shooting, hopefully with and I think they did show the Move controllers, so you're going to be shooting around people, you're going to be jumping on planes and trying to catch the ladders and things like that. That's what I want. That's what I want from a VR game. So I'm super hyped for this game. This could be the best VR game that we have that's coming out so far. To me, this game looks exactly like what I want, and I want more games like this. The only thing that's weird is when you see your hands, it's cool to see your hands, but then if you go a little bit further, you don't see your forearm, and that's kind of freaky. Like, I wish that they kind of showed that too. I mean, I don't think it would be that hard for them to show a little bit more, and then you can't see that, but that's, in real life, I cannot see you if I have my hand in front of me. That's how it is. That's normal. If I'm going like this, I just have to, anyway. It's just a weird thing that I keep seeing, and I mean, Skyrim's like that, I'm pretty sure. And I know Batman VR is. I'm pretty sure Skyrim is. Pretty sure. Could be wrong on that one. Then they showed a bunch of VR games. To me, the ones that looked most exciting was Falcon Age. Like, they just did like a quick run through of a bunch of them. Falcon Age looked cute. Table of Tales, I think, or was it Tale of Tables? I think it was Table of Tales. Which was kind of like, I don't know, you're like a board game with these little characters, and it looked like a what's it called? Strategy RPG almost, where you can kind of move your characters around. That could be cool. Also mixed with potentially a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. That to me seemed kind of cool. So that's more up my alley. Not exactly for everyone, and I get that, but strategy RPG could be. And Vacation Simulator. I still have not played Job Simulator, and I think I have a demo for that. I really need to play that game because it looks hilarious and funny, and I still haven't played it. And now Vacation Simulator is coming out, so that's kind of cool too. Then they showed, to me, kind of like a horror game in space called Observation. Probably not going to get this because I do not think that I can play a horror game in VR. I can play it on the regular console, And that's why I still haven't picked up Resident Evil 7 yet, because I think I would be freaking out so much. But I want to try it at the same time, and I also want to get Until Dawn, the rail shooter that they have. I can't remember what it's called, but they made Until Dawn, and they made another one for VR, and I want to try it out, but it's going to scare me so much, so I don't know. They showed Five Nights at Freddy's VR. That's also a cool thing that they're bringing to VR. I think not going to be my kind of cup of tea, because that's... I don't think I could do that in VR. I will try it, but when that happens, I can watch scary movies. I can play video games like that. Video games probably scare me a little bit more than the actual scary movies, because especially if the controller rumbles and it's like, jeez. But I can at least play them. This I might have a harder time with, so we'll see. No, actually, Observation and Five Nights at Freddy's, I won't be getting that. I cannot see that happening. Then they had another game that's not VR called Concrete Genie, where this little boy, I guess, is going around and painting the world, and I kind of liked it, but I really need I'm gonna have to hear reviews and honestly see like more gameplay footage to see how the game actually works. I think that they're saying that it's mainly not going to be VR, but there might be, I think that they said there might be VR included later on or something like that. I can't remember. I think that's what they said, but I just don't know how I feel about that one. So we'll see in time. And then they showed a little bit more for Days Gone. I would say that this trailer that they had really didn't sell me on the game too much. I do have a pre-order for this game, and the first two trailers I ever saw, like the first E3 that they showed it, I was really digging that. And then they showed another one, I think at last year's E3, where they kind of showed that the human aspect of it, where there's people out there, and the main character was getting into their camp and sneaking in, and he had to kill some of them still, and using the zombies to actually infiltrate. That was cool. That was a different take on it. And in zombie games, when you look at the human aspect, that's where it becomes much more interesting sometimes, because of how people react in an apocalyptic fashion. How would they react? And it's very much like this. They would not be all helping each other out. There would be factions and all that kind of stuff. So this one was okay, the trailer that I had for it, but I'm more looking forward to it for the previous trailers, and I do have a pre-order for it, and I think it will be keeping it, and that comes out in a month. I think it's April 26th that it's coming out. And then they showed Mortal Kombat 11. I haven't played a Mortal Kombat since probably the SNES days. I do not think I ever played anything, and if I did afterwards, it would have been like 2003 or 4 that I would have played a Mortal Kombat game, so it's been a while. Fighting games aren't really my style. This looked very much story-driven, and like it's not really. It doesn't look like it's only going to be, a fighting game. Like you're confined in 2v2. I like, or 1v1. I don't know if it's still just going to be that. I don't know. I have no idea. Probably not going to get it though. It's not. I mean, yeah, I probably won't get it. But I mean, the storyline looked kind of interesting as far as Mortal Kombat goes. So there you have it. But Sony's first state of play. I will say that I'm probably going to get Iron Man VR when the price drop hits. Crash Team Racing, I'll probably pick that up too. No Man's Sky Beyond, I will be picking up No Man's Sky, and that might be my second thing I'm looking forward to the most. Blood and Truth, that I'm most looking forward to. Maybe Table of Tales and Days Gone. There you go. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to and probably picking up. So thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Sony's first state of play. And I'll see y'all next time. You've been bearded in.
Beardage.